Put your eyes back in your head.
I felt like flavor.
Pry their eyes open and force them to see the truth. We will skin the sheep and sacrifice the weak. The unholy alliance has arrived.
Well. I bet y'all didn't think y'all see our faces here right now. It's been a while.
It's a while for that one, kid.
Yeah. Hey, man, we is wild for that, boy. You know how we do it over here, man. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Yeah, hold on.
Kane and the Undertaker. I mean, the Undertaker. That's just most
the brothers of destruction over here. That's what we do around here. Hey, man, welcome to the Originators Monday. Like I said, man, I'm your host, K Styles, aka the Sixth Man. To my stage left, you know him as the Senator, Mad Mike Sports.
What's happening, people?
And we got a special guest for us this evening. As y'all already know, man, the Originators is a show where anything can happen. Any topics can happen. But we got a very special guest with us this evening. He is ESPN Falcon reporter, veteran fight reporter. Got a new book coming out. How the NWO changed America.
Oh,
hey,
wow.
and an avid wrestling fan just like we are. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Marc. I'm gonna make sure I don't butcher this right. Raimondi.
I'll take it.
Okay. Might do it better. I'm bad with names. If you know, I'm bad with names. I'm good with faces, but I'm bad with names over here.
Nah, you're good.
All right, man. Hey, man. Appreciate you coming on with us, man. Hey, look, we're going to get it right. My apologies. Man, Marc, man, how you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Oh, we is doing good. Hey, like I said, man, pre-order. Like I said, if you are a wrestling fan, we got like I said, it's in the description. It's pinned. Pre-order the book, How the NWO, aka the New World Order, for those that are not wrestling fans, changed America. New World Order. Too sweet. All right, man, fellas, how we doing this evening, man? How y'all doing?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Like I said, me personally, like I said, for me, I have to get a lot of these Falcons reporters and not just Falcon reporter. Marc is definitely one of those guys that I've been following ever since ESPN pretty much. Was about 2 years ago when you replaced
just 1 year. 1 year.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, well, Mike Rothstein. He replaced Marc Rothstein.
Yep. That's my guy.
So, man,
okay.
Rothstein is a great guy. So we've had him also, man. Like I said, man, we have to, get another one on the rest.
Okay.
Here I am.
Okay. All right, man. So, hey, Mike, how you want to kick this thing off? How we want to do this thing, man? I'm gonna let you go ahead and choose how we want to start this show off, man. You know, we gotta have a nickname for Marc, right? What's the nickname for Marc?
He look kind of sneaky. He kind of Paul Heyman-ish. Like for that.
Wow. Man.
Look, I don't know if I can trust Marc, man.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not. I mean, I got all my hair. I got a few less chins than Paul. But it's y'all's show, so do what you gotta do.
We're gonna let Mike choose that. Man. Hey, what you got, Mike? He'll find it. He'll figure it out at the end of the show. At the end of the time you got here, man. So let's go and get right.
Y'all gotta suss me out first. You gotta evaluate.
Yeah, you gotta do the evaluation. We got to do the scouting report as
That's
far
right.
as
That's right.
and see how we're gonna do it. So, all right, man, Mike.
Say that. The reason why I say that, I saw a UFC clip, and he and Mark, you said some things that the UFC fans didn't necessarily like, and that right there for me, that's my personality. So like Paul Heyman is kind of the same type of dude, so that's kind of hard. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Do you mean when I got booed in front of an entire crowd of people?
Yeah.
Oh, you got booed?
My heel turn.
Oh, you got booed in front of a crowd. Oh, we like you even more now.
Definitely a little bit.
Hey man, like I said, we appreciate the heels over here, man. So Mike, how you want to kick this off, man? I'm gonna let you go ahead and start off. How you want to get this thing going?
So this is one of the things. We talk about the Atlanta Falcons quite a bit, but especially in the off season, obviously you have Raheem Morris, and everybody for the most part know what my thoughts on Raheem. But from what you've seen covering Raheem Morris, for me, he has a lot of things to prove. I think he's a terrific coach. I think he's very knowledgeable. Obviously, if you look at the history with Washington, Tampa Bay, Tony Dungy, Gibbs, all these guys, he's definitely a guy that has he has a resume, an impressive resume. So for me, I'm not convinced yet that he's the guy defensively for the Atlanta Falcons. What have you seen from Raheem in this short period of time of covering him that makes you think that he is the guy?
I mean, that's fair, Mike. I mean, it's fair to say that you don't know if he's the guy because it's hard to say because the results just have not been there for him yet as a head coach, right? He does not have a winning record. He has a losing record as a head coach going back to, his interim days with Atlanta. And, now he's, he was with Tampa. Now he's with, the Falcons full time and, still has a below 500 record. So it's natural to say, is he the guy? The one thing that you can lean on, if you're an optimist, is he has led some very good defenses, Super Bowl winning defenses on that side of the ball. So you feel like he has that part of the game all figured out. On offense, some of the time management stuff wasn't so clean last year. If you all remember. So, there are certain things, he's still kind of growing into the job. He's still a young guy. He's still even though he's, he was a head coach for the first time when he was really young, he's still a young guy, comparatively to a lot of the other head coaches. So there is still time for him to kind of develop into, that guy, that man, that coach that fans want in ATL. But the NFL is a results-based league, a results-based business, because it's a business at the end of the day, and you have to produce, you have to win games, and that goes for Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot, the GM in 2025. They got to win. They have to win this year. It's going to be a really, really crucial year for both of them.
Okay, so you pretty much saying that this is kind of a make or break year, especially with the expectations going.
It could be. I mean, look, Terry Fontenot, this is going into year 5. So this is his 5th draft that we just got through. And, his 5th offseason with the free agent acquisition. So they have not had a single winning record in his tenure so far. So 2025 is, you never know what it is like. It's a crucial year. Is it a make or break year? We don't know. We're not in the head of, Arthur Blank. We have no clue. But you have to believe, based on what he has said, Arthur Blank, this offseason, that this is an extremely critical year for the coaching staff and for the front office.
Okay. Mike, what you got on that, man? How you feel about that?
I think he's right on, man. Like I said, for me, I wouldn't necessarily see results. I just want to see progress. And from what Raheem has done in his career, the things that stand out is like he has. You go back to the 2016 Atlanta Falcons, obviously with Dan Quinn this year, a bond there, him being the assistant head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. And he was quite an intricate part to both offense and defense. And it's the same thing here. You kind of see the same imprint on this Atlanta Falcons offense and defense. But the thing for me when I look at Raheem is it's results. That's it. I do not want Raheem fired. I mean, contrary to everybody how they believe that I really don't want to fight, because in this league, we know if you give a guy time, and Mike Tomlin is one of those guys, you give him time, you just got to give him time to develop, to create a system. And I think if we're going to be successful in Atlanta, you have to give guys time. And 3 years, in my opinion, is not long enough. So give him time, man.
Because I think the problem here is, like you said, and Mark probably would attest to this, is you haven't really had any stability as far as culture with the Atlanta Falcons in itself, with the constant rotation of coaches and systems and ideologies and different types of players and stuff. Like I said, eventually we have to build that, and if we can't get that, then we're going to continue to see the same results we've been seeing the last 5 years.
I will say one thing, guys. If you're watching and paying attention to the news lately with what's going on in football, I think it's probably a very good thing that the Atlanta Falcons did not go in the direction of Bill Belichick last year when that was on the table, right? That was something that could have happened if they greenlit it, and it didn't. And honestly, I think that was the right move, because if you see what's going on now with him and his girlfriend and interrupting the interviews, and there's reports that she's not even allowed on campus at UNC, the University of North Carolina, where he's coaching now. That would have been a lot of drama that, frankly, the Falcons got enough drama, right? They got coaches' sons calling draft picks. They got enough drama. They got tampering. They're losing draft. I mean, there's enough drama in ATL. They did not need Bill Belichick and Jordan, his girlfriend. I'll put it plainly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord, her name is Jordan. So yeah, that already sounds like a red flag.
Yeah, the only Jordan not allowed at UNC. The only Jordan not allowed in Tar Heel blue.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because like I said, she kind of give off that Mika Grimes type of thing right now. And like you said, I don't think they want to deal with any parts of that.
But could you imagine a world where it's like the Kirk Cousins stuff's going on, and we have Bill Belichick in Atlanta with the younger girl, and I think you take the stability of Raheem. He's pretty vanilla, and that's a good thing. You want your coach to be, he's chocolate, but he's vanilla. If you know what I'm saying,
he's Neapolitan. How about that? We just go do it.
You want your coach to be boring. You want him to, inside the lines, do your thing, but outside, boring. You don't want to hear a peep. You don't want to know the coach exists outside the game, and that's Raheem Morris.
So you say he's Neapolitan? That's what you saying?
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm not saying it like that. I didn't mean it.
No. That's a good thing. Like you said.
I'm just saying he's boring. He's in terms of vanilla being a boring flavor, right?
Yeah,
he's boring. That's what you
want. I'll be honest with you. Neapolitan flavor is boring as hell. Cause hell, we done had that shit so much in every birthday. It's like you get tired of
it. You look at Dan Quinn, you look at Arthur Smith, both of those guys. I mean, Mike Smith is another one. He was a little bit more animated. I can see Mike. But yeah, I think I have a question for you, and I'm gonna take it.
That's why I'm here.
So we have two guys. For me personally, you look at James Pearce Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I think just physically, he is everything that you want in an edge today. The size, the speed, the athleticism. You can see. I saw a couple of plays in college where he chased down. I'm talking about guys, quarterbacks that are very athletic. So that right there with the size, the speed, it reminds me of Javon Curse, but when you look at a lot, he's not as good as and forgive me, Panthers fans, for saying this, but he's not as good as Julius Peppers. But Julius Peppers is a big guy. But you look at what he can provide for this Atlanta Falcons, if he plays physical, with the athleticism, I think they make guys steal. So, what are your thoughts not only on James Pierce Jr., but what are your thoughts on the Georgia Bulldogs? Because we have a lot of Georgia Bulldog fans that really like Jalon Walker. What are your thoughts on those two guys?
Yeah, that's a good question. Seeing James Pierce Jr. for the first time in uniform at rookie minicamp last week, I mean, he jumps out to you because he is a big man. You know, he is every bit of 6'5", and you have to figure with the NFL weight training program that he's going to put on some muscle mass too. So that is a guy that, like you just said, Mike, I think that he could really unlock a lot of potential in the league just based on his traits alone. And you know, Jalon Walker is a guy that was so versatile at Georgia. And he doesn't have the size, right? He's not your prototypical edge the way that, you know, James Pierce Jr., like you said, I mean, that is like, you know, if you're like asking your AI to make an edge, it's gonna probably look a lot like James Pierce Jr. Jalon Walker's not that guy, but he's so smart and he has such a high football IQ that he can make up for some of those things with also extremely athletic and explosive as well. But they're gonna use him on the edge right away, and they're gonna have him, you know, try to master that, and then they're gonna move him around. But first, they wanted to really focus on edge, and I think that's the right move for a rookie.
Look, I say it like this. He may not have a prototypical size. I don't give a damn. Can he play?
Right, 100%.
We watched Elvis Dumerville at 5'11", 240 dominate for years. We seen Robert Mathis dominate at 6'3", 225 pounds. I think we'd be all right. Truth, what's going on, Truth?
Sorry, I'm late. I apologize for being late. Find me later.
Man, you gonna get fined like crisis. A motherfucker.
I had a crisis, man. I done lost $40. Like, I really did lose $40. I know what y'all gonna think. I really did lose. I lost $40. You know what? I think God got me. I think God got me for doing it.
We're not doing this.
No, I really did. I lost $40.
We're not doing that.
I did, man. Listen, God is punishing me, man. God is punishing me because I lost $40 and I've been out of shape. I got $60 out the ATM. I got $60 out the ATM. I put 20 in gas, and I can't find the other $40. Okay, I know it's hard to believe right now. You know what? Forget about it. Hey, man, how you doing, man? I'm sorry I'm late, man.
I'm doing great. I hope you find your money. I hope you find your money, OG.
Well, you better find that money. Shoot, hey, look, you don't need to be losing money out here. Not like that.
No, we don't. We don't.
All right, man. What's going on, True?
It's a story behind the $40, man.
No. We'll say that for later, man. What's going on, True? Hey man. We going, like I said, as you coming in the conversation, we kind of talking about the rookies, James Pierce and Jalon Walker.
Okay.
And pretty much Mark was giving his intake on the two guys, man. So how do you feel? As we finding out that these rookies have officially signed, the two first round picks officially signed on the team. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm jacked, man. I'm stoked because you know, we for once, you know, I guess the football draft guards is on our side. We actually got two of the top 4 pass rushers in the draft. I mean edge rushers. I'm gonna say edge rushers, not pass rushers, but edge rushers. And the thing about it, they can do similar stuff. I mean, you got one of them that can put his hand in the ground and get out there to the quarterback, and you got the other one that's just, I mean, he's a hybrid. I mean, he can do everything. He can cover backs out the backfield. He can get to the quarterback. He can take on blocks. You know, and both of them got better than average speed. I expect these guys to be day one contributors, week one contributors. I don't know if they both going to be starters, but I expect them to be week one contributors, man. Like I said, I'm jacked about both of them, man.
Okay. So, like you said, man, it's kind of been the first time that you saw them double dip on the edge rusher side of the game. And which
Man,
in the very
I almost look, man. I almost fell out. I almost fell out when they did. I was like, what the, you know? I mean, hell, we was all in the chat together. I'm like, what? But, you know, but you know, we have these loyal super fans that are complaining about that. How about that?
hey,
Yeah.
look, hey,
I'm
look.
on mute. Listen, you guys go ahead on. I'm gonna mute myself because I got an echo going.
All right, do you think? All right,
Okay.
and then in the very same draft, not only did they double dip in edge rushers, they double dipped in safeties, which caught a lot of people off guard.
I think the plan for Billy Bowman is going to be to play him at nickel corner. So I think Xavier. I think both those guys, like Pearce and like Walker, I think both those guys got a real chance to play pretty early on. You know, if not start in week one. I think they're going to both be impact players also on the defense. Which if you got a draft where your top four draft picks are starters or making an impact, in year one. That's not a bad draft, and we'll see what happens. But that's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking at right now, as far as those four guys.
Okay.
So
all right.
One question as we go to wrestling, because I got to get to wrestling and take it. So
Exactly.
if you were to, for me, I think this could be. I don't think the Falcons are looking to do this, but this could be a situation because you have Drake London, you have Tyler Algier. At some point in time, you're going to have to pay Bijan Robinson. We have a safety. I believe he's the best safety in the game, and Jesse Bates. So, do you think there was somewhat of a insurance policy if they can't come to a financial agreement? I do believe that they're going to, and they really like Jesse Bates as a guy. Do you think Xavier Watts is one of those guys that you could look at potentially replace him if they can't come to an agreement financially?
Yeah. I mean, that's a little bit down the road, but certainly that's something that I'm sure that they're thinking about. But I think just for right now in 2025, that was a position that Justin Simmons was not going to come back, and they have DeMarco Hellams, who missed all of last year. Who's a good player, but they needed and wanted competition for that spot, and Xavier Watts is that guy. They brought in Jordan Fuller also as a free agent, so they're gonna have guys at that position that are gonna be playing for that spot. And honestly, like guys, I mean, last training camp there just wasn't as much competition. It felt like training camp the starting positions were already locked in going into August, and it's not going to be like that this year. There's going to be a lot of competition, which is good. A really, really good thing for the summer and for that rookie class coming out.
Okay. Nice. But like Mike said, man, let's go ahead and get into this book here, man. I want to go ahead and talk about this. But those, like I said, once again, in the pinned comment section, in the pinned comments, go ahead and pre-order. Say hello to the bad guys. How New World Order changed America, which you will probably find, which you could find on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Target, Walmart,
everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So for all my WCW fans and all wrestling fans, man, hey, I want to ask you a question about this book, man, and I want to know what was your inspiration as far as writing this book and giving the deep detail of how the NWO was formed, and how did you feel as a wrestling fan?
It's actually a crazy story because it was not originally my idea to do this book. It was not. So I work for ESPN, right? I've been a reporter for ESPN for 6 years, and before I came to Atlanta to cover the Falcons, I was covering combat sports, mainly the UFC. That was like my primary job. But I also did a little bit of WWE, some boxing, and I've always been a wrestling fan. And that's always been, that's like my first love, right? Before I even got into UFC, before I got into boxing, I was a wrestling fan. You know, I was a WWF fan. I grew up in New York. You know, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. So that was what I was raised on. You know, and then WCW after that, right? You know, I got into that like in the early '90s. But so one day I was in Houston for a UFC fight, and I got an email. And the email said that it was from an editor from Simon and Schuster, which is one of the biggest publishing platforms, right? One of the biggest publishers for books. And this editor, or so-called editor, said, basically was asking me, do you want to write a book about the NWO? And the reason why he found me is because I wrote about the NWO going into the WWE Hall of Fame for ESPN. And it was an article that could have been like a complete throwaway. Like I could have just, you know, wrote 500 words and said, you know, move on to the next thing. But I didn't. I totally overwrote this story, right? Because it meant something to me, right? There was, you know, I wrote it with a lot of passion, and I wrote, you know, about its cultural impact. And I guess they saw that at Simon and Schuster and said, we want him to be the guy to write the book by the NWO. So they reached out to me, you know, and I'm reading this email, guys, and I'm like, come on, are you serious? That's like, come on. I thought it was. Can I curse on here? I thought it was bullshit.
Shoot. Hey, look, cursing is the mandatory over here.
Okay.
I've been fined and suspended about 17 times in 3 years.
So I thought it was bullshit. I thought I was getting scammed. I thought I was gonna like you know, get some phishing in my email. I thought I was gonna get like my password stolen or some shit. But it turns out that it was real. And I got on the phone with this editor. His name is Jalon Israel. He's from Brooklyn. I'm from Queens. So there's like a, you know, an immediate kind of like synergy there. And he's a little bit younger than me. But we kind of connected right away, and we vibed like right from the first conversation about what the NWO was and how it kind of shaped, you know, our childhood, you know, our teenage years, and how it affected everything else. You know, you look down the line, how it triggered the Attitude Era. You know, how the Attitude Era, you know, got Stone Cold and The Rock. The Rock is the biggest name, you know, in Hollywood. You know what I mean? So it's like the domino effect that was there from the NWO is really what the vision for the book was, because that started it all in the 90s. And, you know, he and I from you know, really word one from the jump, we vibed. You know, we really shared the same vision. We shared the same vision, and that was it. You know, that was 2021. That was 4 years ago when I had that conversation with him. And you know, I've been working on it with him ever since then. And you know, we're real proud about what we came up with, and that's, you know, and now it's gonna be a real thing, which is kind of, it makes me a little anxious if I'm being honest, but it's gonna be a real thing, and I'm excited for people to read it.
Hey man, you said a key word too about how the NWO was instrumental as far as, and I say for me personally, from what I thought the NWO was they were the cool they were the cool kids in the town.
Mm-hmm.
They at that point in time, like you said, when wrestling was kind of like still on the edge of that golden age, and they wanted to push the line a little. The NWO was kind of like one of those guys that pushed the line. Cause I started off watching WCW before I started watching WWF at that time, so I kind of knew, I kind of seen the NWO. I didn't understand it, but I was like, something about these guys is kind of cool. And
yeah, I mean, they were cool. You know, like
cool.
Hall and Nash were cool. You know, they Hulk Hogan maybe wasn't cool, but he was the big star, right? You know, like he was the big star from the 80s, and you know, him turning heel and being a bad guy was interesting and compelling to see what he could do. And Hall and Nash, just like, man, just like those are like two of the coolest guys in the history of wrestling, as far as I'm concerned. And it's like, coolness is something that you can't really define necessarily. Like, you don't really know. You know it when you see it, but you can't really describe it other than like those. When they're on the screen, you want to watch them. You know, you're kind of engaged by them being on the screen. And you know, they brought a lot. They brought a lot of like urban culture into. You know, they were white guys. I know Scott Hall, like his character was kind of Latino. I mean, dude was a white guy. You know, from Florida. They were white guys. You know, Nash was from Detroit. Okay, a little bit, but they brought that. Maybe it was a little bit of cultural appropriation potentially at times, but they brought something that wasn't there. You know, WCW was like Southern wrestling, right? It was like old boys. You know, the Southern wrestling. Old Boys Club, you know, Ric Flair and, you know, Arn Anderson and, you know, the guys from the territories and those guys came in and they made it freaking urban and cool and edgy and gritty and like it was like nothing else with the graffiti and, you know, like, you know, the way they talked, the way they walked and acted was just so different than what wrestling was. When the NWO started, in WWF, they still had like characters like the wrestling like hockey goon and like the pig farmers and like the fitness instructors, like, and then Hall and Nash walk up like cool as hell in their street clothes. They're using their real names, you know, they're spitting. Like, I mean, those guys were just like on a different level than what else was going on. So it was like, whoa, what is this? We got to see what this is all about. That was the NWO.
You said this is this is where the big boys play at. That's all I need to know right there. Hey man, that was nice. Hey, Truth, what you got to say about the NWO for you, man?
You in the bathroom, Truth? What's going on? What's going on over there?
Give it about right at 2 minutes. Right at 2 minutes.
Okay, give him 2 minutes. But yeah, Mike, how'd you feel about the NWO?
Right now, man. Ain't no telling what he's doing right now. Hey, man.
He's still trying to find that $40 over there. That's what he's trying to do. He's still trying to find that $40. He lost it in the sock or something. But Mike, how you feel about the NWO?
I think he made a stop at Magic City on the way home. It's Monday, you know.
Magic City Monday. Oh Lord. See, he tried to get us in trouble already, man. Hey, he fits right in with us. But Mike, how'd you feel about the NWO, man? What's your thoughts on?
Hey, like I said, for me, man, it's like I was a wrestling person, wrestling guy coming in. In high school, it was just like girls wouldn't. You weren't cool with the girls watching wrestling. You weren't cool. I was a wrestling fanatic. I never missed. And a lot of girls just like you. It made it cool finally when you had the NWO. It's just like, all right, it's cool to watch wrestling. Stone Cold, Rock, NWO. They made it cool to be fans of wrestling. So it really did change the how the world viewed. Not only you as a fan, but they made it cool. And here goes Truth. What the world Truth got going on?
What the hell? What the hell? What voodoo do you got going on? There you go. I'm about to say, what voodoo you got going on?
Mike and Kevin, y'all go to heaven. Go to heaven. Okay.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. You normally condemn us to hell. That's nice.
I got to ask about the NWO. Trendsetters. You know, they like the trend. You know, the NWO was the bloodline of the 2000s. I mean, of the late 90s, early 2000s. But they were a little more ruthless with it though. Like the NWO when it took over the whole damn show. You know, like they turned it. They literally created an NWO title. You know, as a fan, you know, I'm more of a fan of the baby faces, so I didn't like them. You know what I mean? I didn't like them. But I learned to appreciate them later on down the line. I mean, because you made it work and
I'm about to say, damn, Truth, you got the NWO theme song on pat right now.
Could have used that $40 to pay for that.
Hey, Mark. I know you gotta go, and I appreciate you being on, brother. Like I said, we're gonna do this. We definitely gonna do this. another time. But like I said, man, we truly appreciate you coming on and gracing us finally with your presence, man. And like I said, he will be back. Okay, Mark will be back because we got a lot of wrestling to talk about. So, can you kind of give your last take for us? We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm here in ATL. I'm covering the team. I'll be here, through OTAs, training camp, the season. And the book comes out June 24th. And, like y'all said before, it's available now on pre-order. Really anywhere that you get a book, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, which I love, by the way, because I feel like, Target and Walmart, that's America, right? This book says the NWO changed America. You got to get it in front of America. I don't want it to be just for the literary people, right? That's a different world. Like, I want it to be people that, grew up watching this and those people that may not be reading books on the regular, right? But I want this to be different. I want this to be the only book that you read this year. The NWO, how the NWO changed America. Say hello to the bad guys. So that's it. I hope I can hang out with you guys again. I hope Truth finds that $40. I hope he uses it to get a better internet connection, and then we can wrap.
We're gonna make sure he do. We're gonna make sure he do that, man. Because he gonna, like I said, we gonna have to put an APB out on $40, y'all. So.
Hey, we truly appreciate it.
Mark, we appreciate it.
Instagram. You can follow Mark on Instagram. You can follow him at Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever you call. And like I said, man, we truly appreciate you, Mark. Everything, all his link will be in the community tab on Mad Mike Sports, as well as Mad Mike Sports on X. Anywhere you can find Mad Mike Sports. So thanks again, Mark. Truly appreciate you, brother. Keep doing a wonderful job and continue blessing, bro.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Once again, how professional wrestling's new world order changed America. Say hello to the bad guys. And it's just too sweet.
I'll see you guys.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Mark, appreciate you, man. Man. Like I said, damn. Truth for his $40 hollers, goddamn it.
$40. He came on talking about $40. Ain't that something, y'all? Hey man,
all right. So we're gonna do something here. A little fun. We're gonna have a little fun here. And Mike, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna put the link in the chat. So this part right here, we want to get everybody who wants to get an opportunity to come on here to give their takes on how they feel about this rookie class and the news that you have seen with said rookies. And give us what your predictions is for 2025. So, we got the link in the chat. You want to talk to your boys? Wide open. But yeah, man, that sounds like that's gonna be one hell of a book right there. New World Order. All right.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna order that book. Y'all can believe that.
Oh, I'll look, shoot. Look. I don't mind. Like you said, I just actually found out that I could read a couple years ago. So yeah, I'm cool.
This man, the kid don't have the patience.
I just found out I could read. And damn you, Mike, you tell me my hair made me look like Milli Vanilli on camera. I should have covered this shit up. I'm sitting here. I got this shit. I got this shit going in my head. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm like, thinking this shit look like Milli Vanilli. I'm like, boy, ain't this a book? See.
I didn't think about it, Kim. I really didn't think about it until you said
it. But man, like I said, man, we got the link in the chat, man. Falcons discussion. Hey, NBA playoff discussion, wherever y'all want to do, man. So this is going to be a wide open free form.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever y'all want to talk about, hey, like I said, we got the chat, got the link right there, and while we waiting on everybody to come up, Mike, is there any other news that
Oh boy.
you wanna get off your chest while we sit here wait for some folks to come on? We got Ray 50 crazy ass getting up in here.
Oh boy.
Ray, shut
Yeah.
the hell up. He talking about Whoopi Goldberg. No. See.
Nah, we
I
can't
actually
do that.
had a joke. I actually had a joke right there, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Motherfucker got me up here looking like Alex, looking like just Alex. Shit.
You know what? No, we can't do that. We can't. Yeah, we can't.
No, because I had a joke right there. I like, nope, I'm not pushing. We pushed the envelope already too much. I'm not
Yeah.
pushing
Yeah.
that one. So, Mike, man, outside that, man, what in the sports world piqued your interest so far?
I mean, honestly, it's just in the sports world. I mean, we can talk about this because um, that's a lot of people are wondering what the hell is going to go on, and I'm gonna just go off on a topic that we typically don't think about, and um, it's Giannis. That's been a topic that a lot of people just have been talking about lately, and whether or not the Atlanta Hawks should make a move for him. And to be honest, man, I was talking to people about this earlier, and one of the things I said is like when you got a guy like Jim Johnson, Zachary Ricochet, you have Trey Young, good God Almighty, Double D.
Double D.
You got Double D in this thing, man. And I think at this point in time, when you got a guy like Giannis, I wouldn't mess with it. I wouldn't mess with those young guys, man. Like I think they're doing a wonderful job right now. But what do you think about what the Hawks should do? Because, like I said, I believe they can if they do things the right way with that bench. I believe they can make a strong push because look at what Indiana doing right now. Like nobody would have thought they would be in this spot and this hot. Them boys playing some nice ball right now. So what do you think of it?
I actually had this discussion at work today about Giannis possibly being with the Atlanta Hawks. And I got two words to say to you. Well, it's a whole phrase. Hell no to the no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no.
Mm-hmm. Nah,
That
I'm right
motherfucker ain't nothing more than a very athletic Clint Capella. No, I'm good on that.
Oh wow.
I really went there. My thing is, when it comes to the Atlanta Hawks, you finally got enough young core pieces that you can build around.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense to literally just ship 75% of that off to bring in one player.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the main reasons why the NBA is the NBA team parity struggles is because we get so infatuated with wanting to bring in stars that you tend to forget that you literally have to give away a lot of key pieces. Like for example, I use Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Yes, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what happened?
Yeah.
They literally had to give away all their defensive pieces to make this trade happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I'll even use Milwaukee for the example for them to get Dame Lillard. they literally gave up most of their core piece. They had to literally part ways with most of the core pieces that was on the team that won the NBA title a couple years ago, just to bring in Dame Lillard.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that either.
Right.
It's like for me, you especially when you've already fired your team president right now, so you're looking for a new guy to come in. I understand, and I think Trey likes the guy that he has. Like for me, I think Zach Ricochet is already kind of Giannis like, and I think if you just look at his overall upside, I just think defensively, I think he's a nice player defensively. He got a nice touch on the outside, but he's like he's a long guy. That's a lot like Giannis, but Giannis is, today is a modern day center. But I think you just with Trey, what you have with him, a guy that likes to give the ball up, you could just do so many different things with Zachary. But the thing I like about Zachary is a lot like Giannis, that he can handle the rock. He can pass. Like he can handle the rock in the fast break. He can handle the fast break in his own. I don't know if I want to give that up, to be honest.
And then, like you said, you had to think about the Hawks had success until what was it? JJ went down. When JJ went down, everything fell apart real quick. The thing about it is, like I said, with JJ, with Ricochet, with the Karis LeVert, with the Dyson Daniels, like I said, you got a lot of wings that complement the team that they're trying to build. And for me, I'm just not a fan of giving all that up to bring in a guy who may not even want to be here after next year.
Right.
Especially if we ain't winning. I don't think the Hawks want to go down that road again.
No.
The whole thing with DeJounte Murray is one of the reasons why Landry Fields got fired, because that shit didn't work.
Yep. Yeah. He had a plan that he was confident in, and it didn't go through, and that's what happens. Especially when you got, especially with NBA players today, a lot of these players run that organization. Let's keep it real. The key guys, they get what they want. And if it doesn't happen on the time that they feel like, if they aren't patient, yeah, you getting fired. So I think it's a good, like I said, I think it was a good move, man, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, to think about it. OKC's whole entire team is built off of one trade.
Yeah.
It was built off of one trade.
I didn't think about that.
That whole playoff team you see in OKC right now is built off of one trade. And the thing about it is, you don't want to be on the losing end of that one trade. I'm like, nigga, we got young guys. Like I said, we need bigs. We need legit bigs, threats at that 5 position. I like Clint Capella. At this point in time, Clint Capella was just a glorified role player that we made a starter. It worked when you, funny as crazy as hell as I'm saying it worked with John Collins because John Collins was a stretch 4. So it worked for him. Like I said, JJ still has to develop into that. You got a Conwu who's an undersized big himself. We just need a legit big, man. That's all that team is really missing.
Yeah. Somebody control the back, because like I said, with Trey being a point guard and on the smaller side, he at some point in time you got to have a guy that can kind of keep the perimeter guys off of him just a bit, so he can dish the ball down low. He's been doing a good job with Okongwu, what his name is? Gay.
Mo Gay. Gay.
Mo Gay. His name ain't spelled the way it sounds, so that's why I was.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have him. He's been doing a good job of getting those guys, but like when you got to get physical, as we saw with the Lakers, like they just don't have a big down there to kind of get physical with the other bigs in there. And I think that's the thing with the Hawks. They have to improve because, like I said, Clint is just one, he's old, and two, he was basically a glorified, bench man come and playing a ton of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I think the time is up is on that.
Right. And I think if they continue to keep the core in place right here and right now, like you said, you can build something. And like you said, if it's one of those cases where if they decide to move on from a Trae Young, you've already developed a young core to where that could be a feasible option. Now, I don't advise them to do that, but you need young players mixed with veterans. That's how you win in today's league. That's how teams win a league. You need a mixture of youth and veterans. If you look at the Hawks right now, the Hawks don't have a lot. Trae is the veteran on the damn team that's worth a damn.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that for a second. It's Trae, Caris LeVert, and Clint Capella. Those are the vets on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And Trae is only 26. That's wild.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see. I see a lot of people saying that. Yeah, a lot of people saying, man, they've been needing a big for a long time. Let me see, get some of these comments. Texas boy said, "Nah, Collins wish he was a stretch four. He's an undersized 7." He I don't know what, like I say, he I would consider him a stretch four, but like you said, he's kind of like he's just a front court player, an athletic front court player. Said Capella ain't been the same since Houston. Jude, what's going on, man? Fred Butt said, if you can get Trae superstar, you do it. I don't, like you said, if you're going to get a superstar to come to Atlanta, Giannis ain't the one. I'm sorry. Giannis ain't the one.
I don't think like that. Like I don't just give away good players away for a superstar. Then you stuck with a superstar, and it's Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, or early Chicago Bulls over again. That's not a good recipe for success. And plus, I mean, we've been following that freaking. We've been following that since Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. Like it's been Matt Ryan and Julio Jones that's been carrying this team for like 6 or 7 years after the Super Bowl. So it's like that's not a good way. That's not a good idea. It's just all right. We're gonna get one superstar, two superstars, and the rest of the team look like absolute crap. Like no.
Richie said Hall's been needing a big since 1998.
Bruh.
The last time we seen it, Clint Capella still does this, but it don't even hit the same. It don't hit the same.
No, absolutely not. I'm good on that, Pippin.
Now, I don't necessarily say it has to be the superstar style, but like I said, you need a good complementary player that could work with Trae. It's two guys that I look at that the Hawks can possibly make a move for, and it actually would improve this team a lot more than what Giannis would.
Mm-hmm.
That's Steven Adams and Aaron Gordon. Like I said, Ain't gonna cost you that much. But the thing about it is, Aaron Gordon is enough of a stretch four to where he can open it up for Trey to run his pick and roll offense. And then you did like I said, Steven Adams is that bully ball. He's that locker room goon you need on it. We need locker room goons. And fuck no to KD. No. I don't need them ashy ankles here. No, we good.
Look, I'm a KD fan, but like having him here, like I don't know if that's a good idea. He's an older player. Like he gonna give you points, but I don't think he gonna give you anything defensively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Drew asked, so do you think the Cavaliers can overcome a 3-1 deficit?
I'm not a believer in there, so I'm gonna say yes. They hot right now, but like they hot, but Cleveland been in this spot before. I mean, they're a pretty damn good team. So it's like I would never say never, to be honest with Cleveland.
Right. They got to be all they got like I said they got to have that do or die attitude now, cause like you said, you got Tyrese Halliburton up here talking shit. Yeah. Y'all can't have him out here talking shit.
Yeah.
I mean, 3-1 deficits are not something that cannot be overcame. But the thing about it is, they got to be on off. Like I said, if Donovan Mitchell plays the next game, if he can stay healthy the rest of this series, they have a chance to do so. Talk about KD might brush his hair in Atlanta. No.
Shit, no, he ain't. Look,
no, the hell he ain't.
Look, you know what? I was about to say something completely.
No, we not go off.
I was about to say something completely off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say he'll fit it. I'll just say he'll fit right in Atlanta. I'll just leave it right there.
I'm not gonna do that. No. That motherfucker look like a fiend. He already look like a fiend on the court. Fiend. I'm sick of I'm sick of WrestleMania. That WrestleMania made me hate that song. Cause they played that song literally every 3 minutes. I'm like I like the song, but then you kept playing it like, bruh, get the out of here. Oh my God, Snow in the Bluff Part 2.
Oh man.
Oh my God. Hey man, shoot. So okay, so basketball. Okay, let's see this. I'm gonna ask you a question, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that OKC is for real, or do you think this is just one of those their hot moment right now, but you don't think they'll close the deal against Denver?
Denver is Denver. That's a championship team, man. And like I said, but they I will say this, they could possibly, pull it off because obviously they fired their head coach, and when your head coach know how to push those buttons, and I don't think they've been together long enough to kind of figure those things out. But the coach knows how to push those buttons, so like it could quite possibly be the end for Denver, to be honest.
Okay.
Because of those reasons. And look, the way they did that, man. Look, man. I believe in karma. I'm gonna just leave it at that. That was kind of foul the way they did that, man.
Okay.
It's just hard to believe any of these teams. I like, I'm looking at Golden State right now. Before Steph got he pulled his hamstring, I thought they was a serious contender. I thought OKC was a serious contender. Obviously because they was hot, and then I don't know if it's just hard for me to take Indiana seriously. But they playing some good ball. But like I said, it's kind of interesting to see what's going on right now, man. And
Oh
plus, I'm
shit.
I'm, I'm already happy that LeBron already out of the playoffs. So I'm
Okay,
tired
so they
of
got the NFL the NBA draft lottery on right now. So um well no we have no idea how that's gonna play out.
no at all.
Hawks got the number one pick last year. They literally had a slim chance of hell of getting that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I about to say, man, Mike, you want to go ahead and just start closing it out, man, so we can get up
Yeah,
on out of here.
yeah. Let's close it out, man, so everybody can kind of get ready for Raw because Raw will be on, and I'm definitely not missing Raw,
Mm-hmm.
especially after
Hey,
I have Mark on. And like I said,
right.
I'm pre-order that book, so y'all wrestling fans out there, man. Look, I always say nostalgia, man. Like anything that has
Mm-hmm.
anything to do with wrestling, I try to support it. I love wrestling ever since I was a kid, so it's definitely a pastime for me. So if you're a wrestling fan, just show Mark some love, man. Like I said, he not only covered the Atlanta Falcons, but he loves wrestling just as much as we do. So if y'all want to support the man, check it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cause I'm going, cause now like I said, I've developed a new crush for Julia. I don't know why, but I have.
Yeah.
Outside of Bianca, Jade, Naomi, I think I've developed a new crush for Julia. She might
Mm-hmm.
end up getting her ass whooped tonight, but it's all good. But
Right.
but
Yeah.
I will say this: we definitely appreciate Mark. Definitely appreciate
Mm-hmm.
Truth coming on. Um, hey man, Atlanta Falcons, man, it's about to be this is about to be a very interesting season coming up. It's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
storylines coming up here, and you know the crazy
Oh,
part about it is the main storyline still hasn't been finished yet. We haven't,
yeah.
and that's Kirk Cousins.
You
We still trying to figure that out.
know what? Look, yeah. It's too much
But
going on. There's too much going on, bro.
but the interesting part about it is with Derek Carr retiring from the Saints, something about to happen here. I don't know what it is. Something about to happen. It might be Kirk Cousins. It might be Aaron Rodgers. I think it's one of those two. The Saints might be pillaging.
Look, some things might be forced to kind of, rehash some thoughts that they probably, thought against again. So it's gonna get interesting. I'll tell you that much.
Exactly. So, like I said, for my Atlanta Falcons fans, Falcons Nation and all that, my Atlanta Falcon Nation crew,
Mm-hmm.
man, like I said, man, this is gonna be a fun season. I guess everybody got what they wanted. You got what you wanted. So is no need for complaints right now until the season start. And if the Falcons start off bad, oh, it's gonna be a media shit show down here in Atlanta.
Woo, boy. And I'm gonna be so happy too. I'm just playing, y'all. I'm
Because
just playing.
I just get this weird feeling. Something about to happen. Something is going to happen that we are not prepared for, and it's gonna piss a lot of people off. I ain't either gonna piss people off or it's gonna make people happy.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there's no middle ground, to be honest.
Yeah. So I'm leaving with three options. One, Aaron Rodgers gonna sign with the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Two,
Mm.
Falcons gonna trade Kirk Cousins to the Saints.
That'll be
Three,
interesting.
Kirk Cousins gonna be the starting quarterback for the 2025 season.
That yeah. They're trying to piss me off for real. I don't trust Raheem, so
I
I'm
don't
not
know,
gonna say it.
bro. It's just
I don't trust that man.
something is murky in the waters right now, and I don't know what to say
Look,
about that.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna lead the look. I'm gonna lead the Crusade to get that motherfucker clean out of Atlanta. That better not.
All right, man. You got any final words, Mike, before we get up on out of here?
Again, man, like I said, man, we've had so many of the Falcons reported content creators, some of the best on here. And like I said, y'all know from Smitty to a lot of the only people that don't haven't been on here, the Falcoholic. That's the only people that don't
Nah,
want to mess
man.
with us.
Well, you gotta
Yeah,
think
we've
about
had everybody.
you gotta think about with them. We too angry for a lot of folks. We too much. I was gonna say we too much of niggas over here, but I ain't want to go that far. But I
That
would just say, but see, when you're
was
the
the only
like I
people
said,
that have not messed with us.
like I said, when you're the bad, when you're the bad, like I said, when you're perceived as the bad guys, a lot of times the status quo is not gonna fuck with you, and
Oh
unfortunately,
no.
them motherfuckers is the status quo.
Oh, we clearly not that. I
We
think
ain't
that's pretty
we
obvious.
not politically correct over here.
Right.
We cuss too much. We talk shit. We argue with folks.
Yeah, we
We don't
clearly
we
not.
we we don't we don't we don't we don't fit the image that people want Falcon fans to be perceived
Perceived as right.
as the get along the get along game. Shout out to Kwame Brown.
Yes, sir. Ooh, boy, that's one of my favorites. I love corny.
And we ain't the corn. We like I said, we ain't the corny type. To where we try to be lamb chops play along with everybody. So like I said, it's
No.
all good.
Yeah,
Like I
it's
said,
definitely all good.
like I said, man, we the unholy alliance, Atlanta Falcon Nation, nigga. We thrive on being the enemy of the Falcon content space, which is good for us because it makes us stand out. So I ain't got nothing else to say. So we're gonna get up on out of here, get y'all the rest of y'all afternoons. And as we always say over here, we ain't here to play.
Oh no.
We here to stay.
Oh yeah, nigga.
Nathan Floyd said we're gonna take that third option and throw it off to the side. I hate putting that juju out there, boy, but
No, but look.
Look. The one thing that I've learned, not even just about sports, but just in life in general, is always the most asinine stuff. When you don't think about it, always happen. Hey man, we out here. Make sure you continue to subscribe to Mad Mike Sports, Mad Mike Network, Mad Mike Sports. We trying to get him to the 15.
Almost at 2K on Mad Mike Network, y'all. Almost at 2K in Mad Mike Network. So, man, look, man, we truly appreciate it. We truly appreciate it, man.
And also, System K Live. Man, the next goal is 1,600 as we try to push out more content. Like I said, man. Leave your questions, leave your comments. Q&As is coming up soon. So, like I said, man, just leave your questions. Man might get to it. I'll get to it. Juan get to it. Jew get to it. Sam get to it. The Unholy Alliance will do it. So, deuces. Southside said he missed the whole show. Well, that's what it's called. That's what a replay is called, motherfucker. You, like I said, you learn next time.
That's your damn fault. That's your damn fault. Missed the whole dang on show. What the hell wrong with you, man?
And as my girl Layla always say, it's not my problem.
Y'all had to get him to sing that song too.
All right, we out, y'all.